Hey guys, welcome back to the Ice Project. I'll talk about this a little bit later, but roll the intro.
Welcome to the Ice Project. Welcome to the Ice Project.
The guy with one of the coolest Instagram names in the comp, Plant-Based Maori. What's up, bro?
What's going on, big dog? Happy to be here, brother.
Yeah, we're practicing gratitude at the moment. I know this is something you've been big into, and we'll talk about meditation a little bit later. But what's one thing you're grateful for today?
Bro, it's actually something that I've been thinking about this morning, and it's just grateful to be there for friends, you know, because it's pretty like it's cool to be around friends when things are good, but I think being able to be there for friends when things aren't going so well, I think it's just something that I feel for myself is something that I'm grateful to be able to do for other people.
Is that sort of something that's happening in and around you at the moment?
Yep, it is, bro. It is, and it's in multiple sort of like spaces with different people that I'm just really close to, and just being able to have that sort of like emotional capacity to want to be in those spaces to support, bro. It's something that is just sort of sitting with me at the moment.
Grouse. Do you find, because you're well spoken, you've got a podcast now, you find people sort of gravitate towards you when all this sort of stuff starts to happen, or like a lot of bad things sort of happen?
Yeah, I was talking to, Hinepania about that, and it sort of seems to be like I am that guy, and it's not to be like something that I feel I move away from. It's something that I'm actually like happy to do, and I feel it's just my own journey has just sort of made that made me be the guy. I guess if I hadn't been on the journey that I have been on, I guess I wouldn't be sort of in that space, if that makes sense.
Bro, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. My gratitude for today is your friendship. Mine, your friendship. We don't hang around too much, but I feel like we're knowing each other a lot, and it's almost that quality over quantity, bro. We've hung out like 3-4 times, but I always leave feeling inspired, and I'm sure you sort of feel the same as well. So I'm grateful for this bromance, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's fucking a good one, bro. I call you the big dog, and fuck, if there was another thing to be grateful for, brother, it's just the power of like how one person can just sort of like change the course of your life. You know what I mean? And it's just one person, one moment, one conversation can just change everything. And you've been a major key for me even to this day, bro. So really, really grateful for that bromance, brother.
Thank you for the kind words, bro. All right, so bro, you got married not too long ago. How was that?
Yeah, man. I got married. It was it's an amazing experience, bro. You know, there's levels to what I feel joy is. You know, on a day-to-day basis, we can be in that space of like feeling happy, feeling good. You know, you have a birthday, you go out and have a free drinks with friends, you're around someone who just sort of like makes you feel a type of way. But for me, getting married was like the pinnacle for me. You know, you're marrying the love of your life around the people you love most. And it's just a day just full of just so much good memories. And it was mean, bro. It was mean just going through that whole thing. And it's been a journey, that's for sure, bro, to get to that point, as well as after being married, the things that come up during that whole thing as well. So there's layers to the whole thing.
You what sort of layers are you sort of talking about there? Because obviously nowhere near to getting married at the moment, but I'm super interested.
Well, I think when you're married, like the thing that sort of happened between like me and Hinepania after getting married was like, bro, shit's real, eh? You know, like things are cemented. You can be brutally a lot more honest. You can sort of like what's happened with us anyway might be just unique for us. Like we're having little arguments a lot more frequently than we did before we were married.
That's
you know,
interesting,
so
bro.
it was
That's
just like we're together forever now, so here it is. You know, it was like that kind of feeling, but it mellowed out like a lot. But it was just that whole feeling, and we noticed the shift. We noticed the big time. And I think just being able to be in that unionship and just having those conversations, we've been able to sort of like figure out, all right, this is just the new level of what the relationship is. And it's just adjusting, right? And growing within this new space.
I was talking about that in different areas of life, like every little level of success that goes up, there's always a new challenge. And I relate it back to video games. Like video games should get harder and harder each level, and marriage is just that next level up. And with those types of problems come different types of stresses as well. And you got to be grateful for those problems as well, because not everyone gets to experience those. So yeah, bro, it sounds like you're going right through it right now.
Oh, 100, bro. And like me drinking was a big part of that.
Ooh, yeah, that sort of heightens everything. All right, next thing, let's talk about your transition back into alcohol. You sort of let's talk about why, because it's been a while since we've chopped it up. Why you stopped drinking in the first place? The 3-4 years that you had off, and then rolling back into it. And how was the first hangover?
But it was definitely something that I had thought about. As I started to transition into, wanting to be better and wanting to sort of like change my life in a certain way. And at the bottom of a lot of things, it was a lot of my problems and issues were based around alcohol, running away from certain things, behaving in a different way under the influence. And so me committing to just going alcohol free, it felt like this is something in my control. And if I really do want to be better, then I just have to go through sacrificing something that I relied on, I guess. And that whole journey, bro, was mean, and what I realized is that instead of going out on weekends, I'd go and do like youth work, I'd go and volunteer, I'd go and do other things. And so I was associating around people who were in a similar space, which made that whole journey a whole lot easier. And what I did notice, bro, is I did actually feel like I was growing as a person. And so that lasted almost 4 years. The 3rd of January would have been 4 years, but a week before my stag, I had my first drink up.
I remember seeing that on Instagram, bro. I was going, hey, what's he up to here?
And it wasn't like, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. It was just, it was knowing that the wedding was coming up. And for me, it was, I wanted to enjoy the whole thing, stag and being around your best mates is a part of that, drinking with your family, friends, it is part of that. And the other thing that I thought was a bit bigger is like a whole lot of my identity was like tied up within being a Maori and being alcohol free. It's sort of the thing that I thought about a lot too was how you always sort of said, like, I've read X amount of books. It's sort of like me saying I've been alcohol free for X amount of years. It's sort of like a pipe up, and I didn't want, because if that was the case, it was the thing that I was just hard out going through was if I drank, like, am I not that anymore? Like, am I not that person? And so for me, I was just going through things and I didn't want my identity, the way that I held myself, to be tied up in this one thing. And so I just became like okay with that, like within myself, around the people, hinepania, friends, family, letting them know and getting their support, reassurance. It just made that whole transition a whole lot easier. And so I had my first drink, ended up going till 11 o'clock the next day.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. That's a long time, bro.
A bit of a bender.
Yeah.
Went to sleep, bro, woke up at like 5 o'clock and then ended up having like a Sunday session. So it was like I went straight back into like how things used to be. It wasn't like a training wheels kind of thing. It was just like fully back in.
So let's just break this down a little bit. So what was the first drink that you had?
It was a Corona.
Oh,
it was a
Corona. What did it taste like?
But it tasted like I just tasted the alcohol.
Oh, okay,
I'd
straight
been drinking
away.
a whole lot of, I'd just been drinking a whole lot of like 0% and things of that nature. And then as soon as I had this drink, bro, I just had the beer taste, but the alcohol taste was like very, like, I could taste it big time.
How many beers do you sort of start to feel tipsy in that?
Well, I think it was maybe around like 6.
Oh, fuck, that's a fair stint,
6
bro.
beers.
I'm about 3 or 4 and I've been drinking for a while.
I was just really taking my time with it, And then I was just around a good bunch of people, and the people that I was around, they had done my online course, Te Ara Hau, and it was sort of like we had finished the program, but we still catch up on a regular basis. And it was at that time, Hinepania was around.
Or she'd have been watching you Hawkeyes too, bro?
Bro, she wanted me to drink because my actual first drink was meant to be the stag, which was the following weekend. And she wanted to be around me during my first
that's cool.
During my first drink. And so we done that, bro. The vibes were just high. We're having some real deep chats, heaps of laughs. And the night just kept going, bro, you know? And I didn't feel, I felt like I was just in a safe space to really like let it rip, you know?
So you're someone who sort of internalizes your feelings and that a lot and pays attention to everything that you're doing. Did you sort of feel a shift there, or was it just an heightened experience of what you were chasing?
Yeah, I think there was, you know, it wasn't like the greatest first experience, like let's put it that way. There was old behaviors came out, you know, Panya was upset at me because I didn't have a sleep kind of thing. There was all of these different things that really like came up in that one night. And what I did realize is that I hadn't really learned too much in that 4-year gap period, because I just slipped back into,
that makes
you
sense,
know,
bro. Yeah.
just how things used to be. And thinking when you're sober about like, nah, I'm sorted, I'm good. But as soon as you're a little bit intoxicated, man, those old behavioral patterns, because it's familiar to the alcohol, it just comes back in. And so it was a major, major learning curve for me on that first sort of experience after so long without it.
So where do you sit right now? You're 4 months sort of past that sort of point now. Where's the balance?
Yeah, and that's an interesting question, bro.
I'm asking this for myself, bro.
It's been a hearty couple of it's been a hearty summer season. There's just been back-to-back parties. There's just been things happening, and it's just been ongoing, you know. And the thing that I want to speak into is like, Hine Panya's only known me one way, you know. She only knew sober Ranz. That's when we got together. And so it's added a whole new layer to our relationship too, because we had to relearn, like, how do we interact while we're both intoxicated or under the influence, you know. And just recently went to One Love, and it got to a point where it was just like, bro, I feel like I'm stagnant, you know. I wake up and it was a great time, no regrets. I have no regrets about anything, but where I see my life at the moment, I can just notice that over the past few months, there hasn't been much sort of growth. There hasn't been much sort of momentum going forward. And now I'm just applying the things that I've learned throughout the journey. It's like, I've got the awareness. I know what I need to do. Now it's just time to execute. So that means minimizing or eliminating alcohol for a period of time until I feel like I'm in a space where I can enjoy it without waking up feeling like shit.
Yeah, 100%. But the way I sort of see alcohol at the moment now, I think about, like, I'm like you, I like to sort of walk and think a lot. I always saw alcohol as a form of escapism or a form of like entertainment. So either I was trying to escape, like, we just lost, let me drown my sorrows, or entertainment, oh, hey guys, we just won, like, let's get on the piss to celebrate. And when I found when I was in football, like, even though from the outside in, it's perceived to be like the dream job. It wasn't my dream job. So, like, I was chasing the beer every Friday night, every Saturday night. And I was just trying to, even now, I'm just still trying to find that balance. It's kind of like, all right, let's go out for a beer Friday, but like I'm home by 11, 12. Mark Boris told me, bro, he goes, if you want to be doing like big things, you can't be doing what everyone else is doing. And I see everyone going out every single weekend, and like, even when I'm on the piss, bro, and I'm blind, and I love to chase a good time and all that sort of stuff, like, I think internally I always know, like, oh, fuck, I'm just doing what everyone else is doing, so I'm going to get the results everyone else is going to get. So that's sort of where I'm at right now. I'm not really chasing benders and shit anymore. I do love the social aspect of it. Like, alcohol heightens your experiences, makes everything like a little bit more fun, and music sound like a little bit better, and food tastes a little bit better, but I'm not relying on it for a good time, because probably like you, I'm excited to get up Monday, I'm excited to get up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm not compartmentalizing my life. It's just a little added bonus at the end of the week that's gone, fuck, you've had a good week, have a beer, but just don't carry on. And that's where I'm at with alcohol at the moment.
That's just the maturity, I think, you know. I think you've just sort of got that sense of maturity and that sense of self-awareness around, you know, where you're at and when you're drinking alcohol. And I think for me, I think the reason why I went so hard was like, bro, I feel like I'm compensating for all of that time off, and it's just trying to catch up and feel like I've missed out all of those times, and I've just been trying to get myself involved in all of these festivals and things like that. Whereas now I feel like I've had a good dash and I'm ready to sort of like move into a similar space that you're in, bro. And I'm excited for that journey.
That's awesome, bro. Next topic, talk about meditation. We were talking about this through our inbox the other day. How long you been into meditating for?
Bro, since 2016, I'd say.
Oh shit, you've been in it for a minute. Yeah. So do you want to talk about your meditation routine, how you meditate, or sort of the type of stuff that you were trying to show me the other day for someone that's kind of a novice in this? Bro, it's hard, eh? It's fucking hard, eh?
Yeah. It is, bro. Like, it definitely is, especially, and I think the reason why it is hard, it's just because it's something new. You know, sitting still or like observing your thoughts or listening to someone's voice, it's just something new. And I think the thing that we often think about, and I get it to this day as well, is we sort of somehow think about how people might be seeing our experience. And I think that plays a little part in it as well. But the way we sort of like move through it is just the sense of openness, you know, which is what I said. As long as we move into every meditation with a sense of openness, we actually enhance that experience. If we're going in there with this sense of closed-mindedness, with the sense of like, this isn't going to work, or this sense of this is stupid, you're not going to get the meditation experience, right? And so for me, I often listen to guided meditations. 10-minute ones are really good, like to do on a day-to-day basis. Me and Hene Pania do them often. It's just picking a random one on YouTube, or picking one that you know works for you. You know, if you get if you get a great feeling from one guided meditation, man, it's okay to jam that one out, you know, for a couple of weeks. You don't have to change them all the time. And the thing that I really, really enjoy about meditating, bro, it's a time for yourself. Every single other aspect of your life, you are giving, right? You're going to work. You're always thinking about the future. You're always thinking about the past. There's so many things going on in your day-to-day life. Whereas meditation, that's a time for you, right? That's a time where you can just be so selfish for yourself. And it's a way to really process how you're thinking, but also how you're feeling. And that relationship between thought coherence and like emotional coherence, that is where you need to be, because through that relationship, you get what they call downloads. You receive new insights. You get realizations. You get answers to questions that you may have. And it's all an internal sort of journey, you know. And it could be like in a deep way how I might be explaining it, but doing it opens you up to so many beautiful things, bro. And that's why I feel like perhaps I can communicate in the way that I do, because I've built a good relationship with myself through meditation.
That's awesome, bro. What it reminds me, you know, when you do a plank for a minute and it feels like it takes forever, bro. When you, bro, that's what that 10 minutes of meditation feels like, bro. I'm in there. I'm just going like trying to, bro, focus on the breathing, listen to the guided meditation. I look up, bro. It's been like 2-3 minutes, but it's going to be interesting once you get to that other side of it. What's the longest meditation you've ever done?
I've done like an hour and a half meditation.
Does that feel like that, or does it drag, or what?
The thing with that though, it drops in and out. You know, like it drops in and out, and like that means going from like a conscious state to a unconscious state. You know, like you're drifting in and out, and it's amazing, bro. You know, it takes you on a freaking journey, bro. You know, like I've done one with Joe Dispenza just on
bullshit.
YouTube. Yeah. And his one takes you into the space of like deep healing, you know, and there's so many different ways to meditate, but this one in particular, bro, I think it was like an hour to an hour and a half. But his whole process that he took me through was getting aware of my breath, getting aware of my surroundings, and he moved me into this meditated state where I could flow into memories, I could flow into different stages of my life. And through that journey, bro, I was able to like receive something that had been holding me back, you know, and it's such a liberating experience. And that's just through being open. That's just through listening. That's just through going in with that intention of like, I'm going in here for something, right? And if you go in there for something, you genuinely come out with that thing.
So do you sometimes ask yourself a question before you roll into it and try and find the answers for it, or are you just trying to be present the whole time?
Yep, definitely. You can ask yourself a question. It could be like, what do I need to know today? Or I felt triggered from, you know, perhaps what someone has said. It could be, what is my next move? Am I doing the right thing? Right? Usually I can get to a sort of place now where I can ask that question and almost immediately the answer will come. You know, and so that doesn't happen often, but that's the reason why you do meditation, because the more you do it, right, the more easier that whole process goes down.
Fuck, that's awesome. So you're someone who's super in touch with his emotions. You sort of talked about that from brain to heart type thing. What's some of the things that you still struggle with?
I struggle with a lot of things, I guess. And then in the same sentence, bro, like I know I'm good. You know, like I have that. The way that I look at growth, brother, is when things are great, you're automatically in a good space, right? You're automatically in a good space. But when things are bad, we tend to go down as well. We don't have the same confidence that we do when things are good. But when I look at growth, bro, if you can have the same confidence when you're good, when you're bad, like that's where I think like you're secure within yourself. That's when I feel like you're on the right path. And where I think that I struggle with, bro, it's just the continuous sort of things that I'm still working on. Like perhaps I'm a little bit slow in starting something, right? Perhaps I'm nagging Pani in the same way that I've been doing for the last couple of years. You know, they're little things, but there's no major things in my life that I feel at the moment because, you know, I've worked through a whole lot of things.
I love that sort of, like what I've sort of found over the past couple of years is sort of that duality of life. They're like, there's always going to be good, there's always going to be bad. And when things are going good, if you don't pull yourself back to neutral, bro, the universe just throws fucking something random at you, hey, and they balance you back out real quick. So, and it goes both ways. Like when things are going bad, just pull yourself back there because something good's going to be coming around the corner from it. And like, I sort of pay attention to how I feel when I get hate. And like, bro, all I do is, bro, thank you so much for the feedback and sort of just move on. I've almost automated my response to hate right now because otherwise, and you've had an experience where someone was hating on you and they're sort of calling you out and saying like, oh, bro, you're full of shit. And then you took them out for a coffee. Like, do you want to touch on that experience that you had there?
Yeah, so someone was just messaging me on Instagram and it was just like little naggy things. Like I'll do a story about something and someone was just picking at like things that no one else would see. You know, it was just like little digs, and I would always just be in there and be up for the conversation and just sort of like see where that was coming from, and basically just sort of like saying that I was just one-dimensional in my viewpoints and how I was going through things. And, you know, to be fair, there may have been like some truth within that. And so I ended up just sort of like, that was going on for like a while. And then just this one particular day, I just had enough, bro. I just had enough and I just blocked them. I just said like, oh, bro, like I don't need to deal with this at the moment. And I blocked it. And he must have figured out that I blocked him because he went onto my Facebook and he wrote like a bad review on my public page. And the thing that like freaked me out, bro, is like, I knew the guy. Like, but on his Instagram, I had no idea that it was him. You know, all he could have said was like, bro, like we know each other, like let's catch up, whatever. And we could have been able to like have like an open discussion about things. But the way how it was sort of handled, it was just, I don't think it was the right approach anyway. And so he ended up doing this big review saying that I was like, not a good man, like whatever I was doing, she was just sort of pulling me down. And I ended up figuring out there was some bro. I sold him a pair of shoes at one stage. Like we go to the same gym. Like it was on that kind of sort of like basis. And I ended up hitting him up. I was like, hey, bro, like I know who you are, bro. You could have just hit me up. But bro, if you're open to it, like let's catch up for coffee and like really just go through this. And we ended up catching up for coffee. And he saw a different side to me, that the way that he assumed how I was holding myself, it was totally different to what he had thought. And that ended up just sort of like diffusing a whole lot of things. He still had his own viewpoints, and I just said like, bro, like that's okay that you have those viewpoints, but this is how I think too. And it's okay for us to have our both two different opinions, but we don't have to sort of always meet eye to eye. And so, yeah, it ended up sort of being good. We see each other around every now and again, just a little bit of a head nod and bro, it's all good. He's still blocked though.
That's good, eh? See, I don't know, people are just like that. They're always looking for something wrong within someone. And I know it comes back off the back of just human nature and the way the brain's been developed would derive from pessimism. But I know it gets annoying after a while too. But hey, grateful for haters. We're going to touch.
Actually.
Yeah, 100. Not it. People don't hate on nobodies, bro. That's it. Let's talk about business. One of our favorite topics that we love to chop it up in person. Your evolution into business over the past. Let's talk about the last 18 months. How much has it changed? The food trailer. Let's talk about everything.
It's been like I've been loving business, bro. It's always just keeps you on your toes, and you're always thinking about how you can scale, how things can be better. And particularly within the food trailer, bro, it's been such an awesome experience. We got our first employee, which is my mother-in-law, and that's been like so helpful because when me and Hinepania we're both in the food trailer, we could only do so much, right? I couldn't expand or explore different things like such as the podcast or move into online coaching because I was stuck at the trailer. And so getting our first employee, bro, it just freed me up to be able to sort of like explore, to have new ideas and to try new things. And that's probably been the biggest sort of change and shift for us that we've noticed big time. And then going into the online coaching, bro, just like,
is that your
that's
spot?
the space for me,
yeah,
bro.
100%.
Like, that's my vibe, you know, like, and it's, like being able to, like, I love serving, and we know the podcast and that, like, it really influences and helps people in some capacity, the people who choose to listen anyway. But what I've learned through this coaching, bro, it's like, you know, you're helping. Like you get this instant kind of feedback, you know, from this person that you're with, and doing that over multiple weeks, you not only get to know people like on a deeper level, but you also get to support them through working through things. And furthermore to that, bro, I get to sort of reveal a whole lot more of myself within these interactions as well. And so from a business sort of perspective, you know, people do pay to come into that, and you can actually see that it is a great way to sort of like, you know, provide more income, you know, and it opens it up, particularly in that online space. You know, if I just done one here in Whakatane, I might get like 2 or 3 people, maybe even just one person. But going online, bro, it just opens everything up, where I'm coaching people over in Australia, coaching people down in South. And it's just really been something that I've just enjoyed, bro. It's been like a good buzz. And that's another reason why I'm sort of stripping back on alcohol too, because I really do love that space. But working and like drinking alcohol, going out and doing parties, it wouldn't be the right space for me to be in if I want to be over here and show up in the way that I need to. It would just be too contradicting for myself. And so that's a big reason why I'm slowing down, so I can really move back into doing some online coaching.
I think I'm great. Oh, fucking pumped that you're doing all that sort of stuff as well, because we've talked about this in the past, where like a food trailer, and it's great, and you go, oh, I just want to connect. I see food as a way to connect with people, but you can only kind of connect between like 11 and 4. You know what I mean? And online education, you can touch people. Once you build it once as well, you can influence a lot more people, and you're spot on with all that sort of stuff there, bro. So do you want to touch on a couple of the things that are in your online course?
Yeah, so it's a 10-week course, bro, and it's a really intense deep dive into the South, right? So every week is just discussing a new sort of like topic. We're going over things like what's the vision, who are you, what is growth, and it's basically a blueprint of what has worked in my life, right? But I've congested it into a 10-week program, going over things like mental wellness, going over things like our relationship with our heart, the physical wellness, going over nutrition, relationships is in there. There's also a part of reflection. It's just like each topic has homework underneath it. And there's always one-on-one Zoom sessions as part of that, as well as one group call every week where we just come in, we connect, and we talk about whatever needs to be spoken about. And I love it, bro. I love that space.
Yeah, I sort of seen it when you sort of rolled from food trailer into online courses. Just sort of seen you sort of light up a bit, eh?
Bro, honestly, I really want to speak to this, bro, because that's how I feel like my journey has gone. Like, I think sometimes we stay too loyal to one thing, and we don't give ourselves the opportunity to move into something else, into something new. And like, for me, it's such a beautiful thing to experience that, because if I just stayed in the food trailer, of course, the next progression for that is going into a cafe. And that's been like something that we had an opportunity on last year, but we decided not to take it.
Yeah, cafes can't move, eh? You're stuck there.
You can't move, and you get so consumed by being in a cafe. Like, hospitality is like no joke. And for us, it was like, we're not prepared for our life to change in that way in this moment in time. So if I was just in the food trailer, I wouldn't really be able to grow myself even more. So I think moving from one thing into another, everything can sort of like work together, but staying true to one thing, it can limit you in one way. And at least in my case, I feel like it would have. So building those support networks around certain things like the food trailer, getting in an employee, Hinepania working, it's then freed me up. And it's similar to what you're doing, YKTR Sports. There's just, as long as you got that support around you, man, you can continue to move and grow.
And you go, as a business owner, as you start to grow and start to scale, you got to realize what your value of the business is. Like, for me, my value is not packing fucking orders. Like, I've done my time. You've done your time in the trailer. Sometimes when you're the face of the brand as well, you're better off being out there creating content, talking to people. And there's like this imposter syndrome where you kind of don't feel like you're working as hard, but then you go to bed just as tired because you're just constantly thinking, bro. And like, if I make 3 bad mistakes in a row with YKTR or sports, and I overinvest in this part and hire the wrong person, bro, our business can go down really quick. So you spend a lot more time up in your brain, and I think, and up in your head, where we're both comfortable in right now. But did you ever struggle with that transition, or were you just sort of happy to get out of there, or did you feel bad delegating? Oh, bro, can you go chop that stuff up? You know what I mean?
No, it was like there was like some great conversations, between like myself, Hinepania, mother-in-law, about like the transition period. And as soon as things were sort of like set, like Pania, bro, as long as she like knows what she's up to, bro, she's good. My mother-in-law, bro, she's basically both of our bosses. Like, she's been in hospo for ages and she knows how to do everything. And so me just sort of like, I feel like me leaving has actually allowed the business to grow in a way as well, because you're seeing it from a different point of view. And I remember when we first caught up, bro, you sort of spoke about as a business to grow, sometimes you need to be going from working in the business to working on the business, and I feel me moving out, it's been like a lot better for us for sure.
Have you guys grown?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, we have.
It's just the way it works.
The location. Yeah. It's like the location's better. We've got a whole lot more events, because what we're doing in terms of online and the value that we offer, we can charge a bit more for catering. So there's all of these different things are sort of like happening around it.
Awesome, bro. I'm pumped to hear that. I know you think about the future a little bit in terms of business. What's next?
But at the moment, just want to sort of like develop the online space a bit more. Got some products coming out hopefully this year, which is going to be like a journal that's going to sort of touch on daily habits. And if you get through the journal, you're sure to have like a reasonably good day. Got some cards coming out, which are sort of like question cards that's going to help connect you with people. So if it was me and you, I would pull out a card and it'll be like, what's your favorite memory as a child? You know, and then you'll talk about it, and that's just a way to connect deeper with your friends, family.
It's a really good idea,
with
bro.
your partner.
It's a really good idea.
So we got one at the moment, and it's something that I take with me all the time. But I was like, how can I personalize this, or how can I make this unique and authentic, you know, to myself, to my group of friends, to my upbringing, to my culture, so it could just sort of like be unique in that way. And just furthermore to that, bro, I just sort of just want to get my feet wet with investing, you know, in crypto, as well as into shares. Like that's been like a big goal for me this year, is getting into that investing game.
That's my last question that we're going to touch on. Money, obviously. I still get people talking about when I jumped on your podcast a while ago, New Zealand, we're not comfortable talking about money. A lot of us, like you and myself, haven't come from money. Me and you trying to break down that wall there. What's your relationship with money right now, and how are you sort of investing?
Oh, it's my relationship with money is good, bro. Like I feel a lot more aware of where money is coming from, and when money is going. I like go through this process of just really thinking about, do I need this? Do I want this? And I think the biggest thing around money at the moment is like the relationship dynamic, you know, like in a party of she just wants to spend and do all of these things. So, you know, we've organized our funds in a way where she has play money, I have play money, and it just makes everything a whole lot better. And in terms of how I'm going to invest, I'm going to use the strategy that you use, bro, which is dollar cost averaging. And every week or two, don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to stay consistent with investing the same amount of money. And I'm just going to do that for the long run. And that's sort of where I feel I'm at with it. The one thing that I know I can work on, bro, is when money comes in, just be grateful for it. And it's such a funny thing because we started off with gratitude at the start, but perhaps this is an area where I know I can work on, bro, is just really being grateful for the money that I'm seeing, as opposed to thinking, when's the next bit coming in?
And the imposter syndrome sort of not only happens with growth of a business, it also happens with money as well, because sometimes you might make, say, 5, 10, 20K in a week when you're used to making like $500, or say you make $500, now you're getting 2K a week. You're like, sometimes it sort of feels like, oh shit, do I feel like I deserve this money as well? And that sort of happened to me when I was in football, where like, here's my ceiling, which is like $0, and here's my floor, which is $0. Here's like my ceiling. Whenever I get a whole bunch of money, I sort of felt like, oh, my friends are working hard back home. Do I really feel like I deserve this? And I'd find I just spend it, and I'd always end up back down this little bottom part here. So even raising the floor of that, and like you said, being grateful for the money that you have, understanding I see money as a unit of service. So the more service that you can provide, the more units that you get back. So instead of just thinking about, I want to get money, I want to go, I'm using this money to provide for my family's future. I'm using this money. This is a result of me providing value out there to everyone, and the universe is coming back and giving me these units, which we use as money. And like you said, always staying neutral. And I'm like you, I'm heavy into investing at the moment, dollar cost averaging. If you don't know what that is, look that up. And we're kind of moving into this crypto space right now, which is exciting.
Yeah, bro, it's very exciting. I just made my first little investment sort of, a couple of days ago, and I just looked on and it had bumped up, and I was just like, holy shit, I didn't expect to see that. I know it's going to go down, but just opening it up and just seeing that it just bumped up a little bit, it was like, holy shit, this is actually mean to sort of see that. And the thing that I want to speak into, bro, is it's interesting how you sort of think about the cap, because, where we're at now, and I feel okay to sort of share this, is, bro, when I was making money over in Aussie, working in the mines, I reached this sort of level in terms of how much money I saw in the bank. And that's where we are in terms of where we are in the business and things like that. And now it's I got to think about I've just reached that cap. Now I'm just struggling to breach it. You know what I mean? Just struggling to sort of like
you're probably getting you're getting in your own way, bro. That's what it is. Because you're like, this is the most money I've ever earned before in my life, and then you're putting that fucking roof on top of your head.
Yeah,
so you got to break that down, be grateful, set new plans, and then you'll find just more money just sort of comes in over time. And it does take time with that relationship as well, because when you grow up, you're not allowed to talk about something, bro. And then like you start talking about it, it feels like a little bit uncomfortable, but start to hang around more successful people, and you'll find they'll start to talk about money, and their relationship with money is like great. And I'll send you some stuff, bro. You'll love it.
Yeah. But you're so right, bro. And that just takes me back to like what Gary said. It was like, he said the exact same thing, you know, because I said I was a little bit overwhelmed for what was next and what was coming. And it feels like a similar sort of like feeling. But what he said was like, bro, be grateful and, you know, think about what is next, you know, because at the moment when I'm limited, it's just sort of like overwhelming, and where I feel like I'm limited or I'm at that ceiling, overwhelming, and it's like moving beyond that is just a little bit different, right? This is comfort A. Below the ceiling is like your comfort level. That's your happy medium, you know? So it's like, again, it's that transition into something new. I'll
roll off the back of this as well. If you listen to this, what you should do is first like sort out your savings. So you want to have like 3 months worth of savings just stored up in cash. And then once you get that, then start to roll into investing and start. But the way you get into investing is to read. Don't ask me. I'm just doing what I think is right. Read some good books about it. Start like looking up, instead of listening to music on the way, start listening to some crypto podcasts and sort of stuff like that. Because it's a super interesting space, and I'm kind of going heavy into it as well. So, and you don't want to miss the boat, because when I talk about crypto to people now, they're like, oh, bro, it's a scam. And if when you have conversations with people, if they can't argue both sides of it, don't listen to them. Or if they haven't done what you're trying to do, don't listen to them. If you're talking about real estate with your uncle that's never bought a house, he probably doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? And everyone's got an uncle like that.
Oh, amazing, bro. And I honestly feel that, and that's what I've noticed straight away. As soon as I've sort of, bro, I've just opened it up. In certain like circles, bro, I'll just say like the word crypto. And a few of my mates will just sort of like be into it, you know? Like, bro, I haven't had anyone sort of like around me sort of be like against it or anything. A lot of people around me are actually sort of like in that game, talking about alternative coins. They're actually sharing the lingo, and I can, bro, ask them questions like, oh, bro, what does this mean? And that's where I feel like my strength is, bro, is like when I'm around people who are already in that space, that's where I actually learn the most, because I learn through people's experiences. I learn through people I relate to. Like if I relate to someone and they have a similar journey, bro, I tend to take that advice in a whole lot easier. Whereas if you're a Gary Vee or someone and you're saying it, perhaps not as influential in that way, it wouldn't be as impactful as if you said it. You know, and I think that's just me at this point in time.
I see you in 10 years, bro. Could be rolling in there. Last question, bro. What's your goals for 2021?
Bro, my goals for 2021, far out. I actually don't even know them at the moment, but one was investing. One of them was to place at the Metcon comp, which like we did, which was actually super fun.
Oh yeah, bro, looking a bit more buff, bro. Those medium shirts, eh?
Bro, medium shirts, bruv. Bro, I've been rocking larger than I've been swimming in them. I've just finally acknowledged I'm a medium, bro.
Yeah, about time, bro.
The other thing is wanted to bring out those new products, which was, you know, the journal as well as the cards. The other one is I want to get way more into podcasting. So got a number of like, bro, I want to rack up like, you know, 100 episodes kind of thing. You know, another one is just doing more in that online space and just have targets of how much people I would like to sort of like serve and bring into that. And the last thing is to start something new, and not sure of what that is at the moment.
Exciting, bro. Just want to thank you for your time, bro. Let's do this probably every 6 months, eh? I really, really enjoy it, bro. As soon as I come home, I'll come out to Whakatane and we'll catch up, bro.
Bro, do it, bro. I'm actually going to be in Sydney in September, brother. So that's going to be us coming over for Tony Robbins seminar. So
yeah, where's the seminar? In Homebush?
I'm not too sure, bro. Haven't looked at it since I purchased it, but I know it's in September. So
Haramai Bondi, come to Bondi.
Bender.
No. Later, Tony Robbins. We're going on a vendor. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Cheers, brother.
Later.